Khabib versus Oliveira, right? And we're not ready for this conversation yet. Like, I've noticed that this isn't out there. I will find it sparingly. I'll see the kids in the forums on the underground sparingly bring it up. But someday it will be hot. I mean, you guys will remember, was it about 8 months ago? St. Pierre versus Khabib. But if somebody wanted to redo that conversation right now, boom, that would blow up overnight. Like, that's one of those topics that could be red hot anytime somebody wants to make it hot. We're not there with Khabib versus Oliveira. But could we be? And all it is a discussion. When you're talking about it's very relevant that you understand this. When you're having a who's the GOAT, there is no tournament for GOAT. There's not even a belt or a plaque or a t-shirt that comes with it. It's just an argument. That's it. If you can get more people on your side, you win. It is straight up democracy, right? I mean, it is a popularity vote, the end. The end. But you will be confronted with certain things. Charles Oliveira, Khabib, two common opponents. Both of their last two opponents. So very relevant. Very relevant. You tell me MMA math doesn't work. MMA math works all the time. Now, Charles Oliveira beat Dustin Poirier 61 seconds faster than Khabib did. That's true. Charles Oliveira beat Justin Gaethje 4 minutes faster than Khabib did. That's true. I watched all 4 of those matches. I come to a conclusion that Khabib beat them both easier than Charles did. Am I a jerk? Am I? I mean, I just got confronted with the one thing that won't lie, which is numbers, and I am disputing the numbers. As a matter of fact, you have not heard the words that I just spoke until you just heard me speak them. Nobody else has brought you the fun fact of 61 seconds faster for Charles over Poirier. Nobody has brought you the fun fact of 4 minutes. It's 4 minutes and change faster for Gaethje, favoring Oliveira against Khabib. But it did seem as though Khabib, even if he took his time, mauled and dominated in a much different fashion. Easier. That's my opinion. That's my true opinion. My true opinion. The numbers are against me. That's my true opinion. And when you talk about numbers, one of the reasons we're not here yet, but when you do talk about numbers, Charles Oliveira has won his last 11 fights. Do you know how impressive that is? At 155 pounds, that might have spread a little into 45. I'd have to go back and check when he changed. You know how hard that is? Can we all agree that that's amazing? Can we all agree 11 of your last 11 is jaw-dropping, mind-blowing, pat on the back, great? Can we? Okay, great. Because then you're going to get confronted with the fact that Khabib did that same thing, but he did it 29 times. Do you see the problem? So we're not there yet. But we could get there in a real hurry. We could get there very rapidly. You bring in Conor McGregor versus Oliveira. The number one thing that you're doing is bringing yet another opponent that Khabib had, which just adds to the MMA math. What you want to do it is up to you. I'm not telling you how to decipher that or how to interpret that. I'm just telling you that that exists. And I think it's a good starting point because there is another narrative out there that also has not gained massive steam, but it exists. And I think with time and the right pieces coming into place, I do think that it will be a much hotter topic, which is, will Khabib return and take on Charles Oliveira? We're all of the mind of no, because Khabib has told us that, and Khabib has been very candid, and Khabib has said how great Charles is. Like, there was no problem anywhere. There's no heat between those two. Charles has never called for Khabib. Khabib has never called for Charles. We're trying to interfere. We're trying to do it. And there is the smallest little door that has been opened by Khabib. Khabib was trying to get Islam to fight with Conor McGregor and did not think that Conor would want to fight Islam. So Khabib, to sweeten the pot, said, if that fight happens and Conor beats Islam, I will return and I will fight Conor. Now, as much as you want to think that that was in passing, that's not how Khabib works. If it came out of Khabib's mouth, he will do it. So that actually was an offer to return. There was things that had to happen, and there were stipulations on it and contingencies. But make no mistake, Khabib would have done it. And as small of a door as that is, what if Khabib, I mean, that one came out of nowhere. That one came out of absolute nowhere, where Khabib all of a sudden shines a little bit of light through this door that we thought was absolutely closed. What if he did it again? He's trying to get an even bigger opportunity for Islam, the same guy. He's trying to get an even bigger opportunity right now, which is against Oliveira and be for a championship. So if he was willing to do it in a super fight, what do you call it against Conor? What do you call Islam versus Conor? Main event, a big match? What do you want to call it? It would seem as though perhaps he would do it again for Oliveira. So, I mean, as much as this door was shut, I'm fishing for something here, but I do think that there's a little bit of something, right? I mean, Khabib is a human being at the end of the day, and he is an animal like anybody else, like any other cage fighter. And if you put him in the corner the wrong way, he is going to come out swinging. I don't know what that is. I don't know for sure how you would do that. But I think that the discussion is real. I think if Islam was to come in just by example and get the jump on Oliveira, and I would be extremely curious, even before we got to that fight, I would be extremely curious what the line for that fight was. Because I will tell you with all confidence, 1 week ago, it was Islam, end of story. By how much is all we'd be wondering. Islam's for sure the favorite. By how much? Can he see 3-1? Probably right in there. Right in there. I'm not even sure he's the favorite now, let alone 2-1, 3-1. I'm not positive he would be the favorite after what Oliveira just showed us. Now, the line will have nothing to do with the contest, but boy, our anticipation of the way that we would view that match is very, very different now, isn't it? I don't think that this is a topic that's going anywhere, but I will also share with you, it's not a topic that's dead. It can't be me that's coming out and rubbing these numbers and the Poirier time and the Gaethje time in somebody's face. It has to be Oliveira, and I don't think that Oliveira has that in him. I just don't think that's who he is. But it's also a discussion that if this was to pop up a week from now, I want to be on the right side of history, which is the one in front of the discussion and the one that's bringing it to you. And it is not the return of Khabib to take on Charles Oliveira. As small as it is, right? You guys remember the Dumb and Dumber? Dumb and Dumber had this great line. Jim Carrey, who's playing the doofus missing the tooth, goes up to a girl and says, "What are the chances that you would go out with me?" And she says, 1 in a million. And Jim Carrey responds, "So you're telling me there's a chance?" And as it pertains to the return of Khabib and a possible caveat that he would possibly put on Islam versus Charles, which would be a much more competitive match than most of us anticipated, the chance of Khabib returning, 1 in a million? So I'm telling you, there's a chance.